This episode of the Totally Rad Show is brought to you by Gamefly. Coming up, it's another modern Sherlock Holmes TV show. Today we check out Elementary.
Today we are back in TV. We're doing TV week-ish. Well, TV 3 days. It's sort of like breakfast. Your choice. Do you want Vegas, Elementary, or Last Resort?
What's up today?
I don't know. Today we're talking about Elementary. We're talking about Elementary on CBS. It comes out tomorrow, Thursday, September 27th. It's a retelling of the Sherlock Holmes theory or
mythos.
Mythos, yeah. We get
theory of Sherlock.
The theory.
People theorize that there was a guy named Sherlock Holmes in the 1800s. A lot of different theories on him.
I have that theory.
Yeah.
So here we get Sherlock Holmes, played by Johnny Lee Miller, as a sort of post-addicted, assuming it's drug-addicted guy in New York City who has a sort of what does she call herself? She's
kind of like a sponsor, but she's
kind of like a babysitter.
He's got a wealthy father, so he hired a babysitter to make sure that he doesn't return
to his wily ways of probably heroin.
And he used to be Scotland Yard. So he
whatever.
So American cop knows him. So the American cop always goes to him saying, "Hey, help me solve this thing."
Well, he's decided to get back into doing the consulting thing to sort of be on a regular, normal schedule.
Right.
Anyway, Lucy Liu plays Dr. Watson, who is the sponsor person. So instantly you get that. An interesting dynamic between Holmes and Watson, as they are not old friends. But yes, he goes back to work, solving crimes in only the way that a quirky British science person would be able to do. So we get the American version of Elementary. Jeffrey?
Yes, sir.
Was it Elementary?
Here's the thing.
Oh.
You know how much I adore Sherlock, the BBC Benedict Cumberbatch version of this. And we have also a big budget film, Robert Downey Jr. version of Sherlock, all within very recent memory. So it was with
a heavy heart.
Just
a preemptive.
Completely not wanting to watch this show that I was like, oh, Alex really wants to do Elementary. Okay, well, I'll watch Elementary. I do not want to see another Sherlock Holmes show. Pretty surprised how much I liked it. Pretty surprised. It's really well done.
It's fairly similar to
Sherlock.
Or
Sherlock Holmes.
I would say it is very different. I would say it is similar in the sense that it is a modernization, and it is it is very contemporary in its style, but I think thematically vastly different. It is so American. It feels so American. It's about emotions and things that the BBC series just doesn't really care about. And really, as much as this is yet another procedural show, super fun to watch Sherlock Holmes being the guy who's doing the procedures, because
superhero.
Yeah, he's a superhero, right? Superpower is deduction, but it's really much more, even in the pilot, much more concerned with the emotional life of Sherlock Holmes than I've ever seen any show deal with. And having Watson be female, which I thought on the face of it seemed like stunt casting and a strange choice, really makes for an interesting dynamic between the two, even though I'm not in love with how Lucy Liu sort of approached the part, but I'm sure it'll grow. It's really going to be an interesting dynamic between the two of them, because you just can't help but be a little bit more, I keep using the word emotional, but it's about a connection that two men aren't going to have. I mean, in the BBC version, it is very much that friendship that grows and sort of an uncomfortable, but it's that it's that very manly kind of competitive and there's a butting of heads there that here the butting of heads, it has such a different feeling to it, just a different tone, because that female male relationship by definition is different, you know?
Right.
And having Sherlock Holmes be such a sexual creature, he's very different than any other kind of Sherlock Holmes I've ever seen on film, and I think Johnny Lee Miller knocks it out of the park. He's so much fun to watch and so interesting and makes such interesting choices.
So is this going to be on the DVR then? This is going to be something you watch?
I think I might stick around for a couple more episodes and see if I'm still as hooked.
Yeah.
Again, not in love with Mystery of the Week stuff.
Yeah.
But if this continues,
But will they, won't they?
Oh,
it's so
Ross and
interesting.
Rachel. Man, it's gonna be. When another female enters the picture.
I would say Sam and Diane,
Watson.
but that's because I'm a little older than you. Sybil Shepherd and Bruce Willis. But yes, but I have to say, before I get too ahead of myself, too crazy, it doesn't hold a candle to the BBC version for me still, but carves out its own niche that is interesting enough that I'm like pleasantly surprised.
Dan, what did you think?
I thought it was well done, and all the performances are. I enjoyed Lucy Liu and I liked Johnny Lee Miller, and there were some interesting things. I just always have a little bit of an ish with. I actually felt like it was too similar. Not that it's too similar to the BBC Sherlock. I feel like all the Sherlock Holmes renditions are very similar to each other. But I did like the female spin on it. I know, but I kind of felt like, it's the American version. What if he was American? And what if? I mean, I have a lot of desire. I feel like maybe I shouldn't say I'm on the show, but I have a lot of
That's
interest.
called House.
Yeah,
I know. Well,
House.
but even how it's like, well, whatever.
Yeah.
So I just felt like he's still like hemming and hawing, and he does the thing. The thing that I did like, I saw the snippet, and I feel like you regarded it as well, was the idea that, like, when he fails to do something because he was so, I feel like that every other one does this too, but when he fails to get the right information because he's so socially
awkward,
yeah. And yes, he's great, intellectual,
yeah,
a great intellect,
but he
doesn't have the people skills, and that's where Watson comes in. I feel like that's probably in the BBC one as well.
Oh, definitely.
As well as the movie and the other iterations. But there was something about it that I feel like that if they focused more on that, I could get behind it. What I don't love is his powers of deduction. I'm not engaged in them. I never feel like it's so rare that I go like in a great mystery. Cleverness for me is when someone does something on screen where I go, oh, because of that and that. Oh yeah, I see, I get it. Whereas with him, it's like stuff that there's so many variables. When he says, oh well, she did. It's because it's being written.
Lucky guess.
Yeah, they're all like, yeah, that happened to be the case, and the writer has control over it being the right answer. Right. But in actual practice, like, there's so many variables. It could have not been that. It could have not been that. It could have been not that. On occasion, I think the more emotional guesses that he makes, like, you're divorced because you're, and I did like the Google moment. I like that, bringing it in the present. I like them when they're more like, I can play at home with him. Right. I said the same thing with BBC Sherlock, so I don't want to be a scratching record, but it's always been an issue for me with the Sherlock Holmes character, and because like the movie at least has using the power in action, fun, fights, like there was a little bit more fun to be had there for me. I like the dynamic, and it's solid. There's just it being a Sherlock. It's still a little bit too classic for me. I kind of wish there was a stronger take on the character.
Interesting.
And the material.
Yeah, I was. Are you gonna follow up? Are you gonna keep watching it? Or?
Not really, but if you guys say it's like, oh my god, it's amazing, then.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed. I actually was sort of. I got the kind of vibe of like. There you go, CBS.
I know, right?
All right, now we're starting to get into the British territory, and I'm happy about that.
Clap.
A little slow clap for CBS.
It's like
they were on the bench and they just hopped on the field.
They did. They totally did. Because I was like, all right.
They call it the Matlock.
They just got matlocked. I don't know what that means. But no, I was sort of really proud that I was like, wow, here's a network show that didn't get networkified, in my opinion, for the most part. It felt like I could have been watching the BBC version of Sherlock, and maybe it would have been a little bit flavored a little bit differently, but it may not have looked any different, and that to me was like, that's a step forward.
Ironically, it's directed by Martin Campbell, who's a British.
Oh, funny, yeah. Well,
whatever.
But it gets me that thing where I go, this is a good direction to go. I love shows like The Mentalist, but you flip on The Mentalist and you know you're watching a TV show. Period. End of story. There's no question about it. Shot, counter shot. You know what I mean? Like, that's it. This had a vibe to it, though at times there was one walking scene where I was like, Jesus, somebody put that guy on a Steadicam because I'm going to vomit. When they were walking across the street that one time,
that is horrible.
Horrible.
That was
horrible.
Yeah.
But
notably horrible.
This is why it's a slow clap and not a standing up.
Fast clap.
Or a... You don't get that.
The single clap.
The single clap.
Baby.
You don't get that. But I really did enjoy it. I enjoyed Johnny Lee Miller. I'm a huge Lucy Liu fan, so for me, it's that I was just happy to see her on her beautiful face on camera again. Is it Aidan Quinn?
Yeah.
Yeah, Aidan Quinn as the sort of gruff,
surly,
and I loved him. It felt like an old glove. And there were some
definitely
other people.
had old glove qualities.
Yeah, there's some other people. So I really did enjoy it. This could very well fill that procedural spot in my heart where I just love to see because I'm just that's what I do. So it comes out tomorrow evening on CBS. Check it out. Elementary.
Surprised to recommend it.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes deep in the season. All right, everybody, be sure to stick around. We're going to be answering one of your Twitter questions right after this. But first, we want to thank our sponsors.
We do not just stand here to entertain the folks. We solve problems.
Yep.
Solving Problems is our middle name.
Yep.
Totally Rad Solving Problems Show.
Yep.
Here's the problem. Let me lay it out for you. You're a person who loves video games, but you have a small amount of funds to devote to video games.
Solve it.
Solving it! Time to solve it. How about $15.95 a month to play over 8,000 new and classic titles from across all consoles and handhelds? That's what GameFly can do for you. Solved.
That's the middle name in action.
That's right. GameFly, the largest online video game rental service. You can just have as many games as you can possibly play. You have up to 1 to 4 games at a time, and you keep them as long as you want or as short as you want. So you play through a game super quick, send it back, they send you the next one on your list. Like a game, want to spend some more quality time with it, you can keep it as long as you want. There's no due dates, no late fees, no shipping costs.
Yeah. I was going to say, I think you can hug them, but then I was like, I don't know if you should hug a video game and then
it's okay to love games, it's not okay to love
I hear
games. All right. What about PC games, though? I know I can hear you screaming in my ear.
Hey!
PC games. We got that for you on GameFly, too. They got the unlimited PC play, so you can get hundreds of PC games faux frizzle. Wow, I love the free. Here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
We all know everyone does not trust us.
Correct.
They do not like our word. They do not want to
people.
take our word for it.
We are shifty people.
We are shifty. We are untrustworthy.
Yeah.
So check it out for yourself. Get a 15-day free trial. That's why we made sure there was a 15-day free trial at gamefly.com/TTRS. There's a second T, which stands for, of
Problem
course,
solving.
pterodactyl. The P is not used.
That's how you spell problem solving. Like pterodactyl.
Yeah, exactly. All right, gamefly.com/TTRS. Do it.
Cool.
Hey, Dan.
Check us out tomorrow for our review of Last Resort.
Today's Twitter question sent in by Alex Hartman, at Alex Hartman. He sent it in, by the way, with the hashtag TRSQ, which is what you
Only
do.
way that
That's
it
what
got
you
to
do.
us.
That's
The
what
way
you
it
do.
works.
He said, I appreciate the recommendation to watch the Jaws Blu-ray documentary. What are your other favorite DVD special features?
My favorite feature
speak
is
French.
always the blooper reel. I love me some blooper reel. I could watch people not do well for so long. I mean, literally. And to be honest, all sorts of things. Like one of the things that I was really excited to find was that on Virgin America they had America's Funniest Home Videos, but it was literally like the sweetest of the candies because it was America's Funniest Home Videos minus any host talking or any VO, cheesy VO stuff. So literally it was just watching a loop of amazing, funny videos of people falling
we
on
call that
things,
today?
fainting.
YouTube.
Yeah, but you know how hard it is to find something that's actually. I mean, it's like what I wish YouTube was, where I just type anything and an amazing video appeared. rather than what it usually is, which is like, this one's bad, this one's bad, this one's bad. That was mildly funny. This one's bad, this was bad. And 2 years later, I'm like, that's amazing!
You know, I used to review Blu-rays for Reviews on the Run.
Yeah.
And so there was a bunch in that time period where I knew like all the special features of all the best. I'll tell you what, a movie you might not expect has great special features. Date Night with Steve Carell and...
I bet you that is a poop ton of amazing...
Lots of wonderful outtakes
Yeah.
and bloopers. But also, there's a really cool making of thing where the director like takes you on a day in his life and exactly like on the set, and you get to see all this behind the scenes like rehearsing and talk. It's great.
Oh, cool.
The Natural, which is one of the best movies of all time, has a great Blu-ray that they went back and interviewed the entire cast. Cool. Awesome. Dan, I'm sure you have some.
Most recently, the Ghost Protocol, Mission Impossible 4 Ghost Protocol, the Best Buy Blu-ray was the only one to get the special features of the and there's a behind
there's a word.
I didn't think it was
the
gonna say
behind
features.
the scenes. If you just hit play all, the behind the scenes features on that movie. It's an incredible documentary. It's done by Anthony Giacchino, Michael Giacchino, the composer's cousin, I believe. Younger guy, amazing. Could be released on in theaters as a documentary. Incredible, incredible. You wouldn't believe that you're seeing something so well made.
It's a movie within a movie.
But also that in depth about seeing Tom Cruise humbled. It's amazing. And also, as Mike turned us onto the Super 8, very similar to that one, an incredible documentary that happens to be behind the scenes of this awesome movie.
It's cool.
So both of those, for sure, wins.
Nice. Keep the winning.